So if you're still in your proving yourself era and you still feel that you have to show up as the version that's most palatable to people, I don't
Mm.
shove anyone out of it. I
Yeah,
just try.
palatable.
Listen,
Uh,
that's
yeah.
that's kind of what it is.
That.
That's what it Hello, and welcome back to Take Yourself to Work, the podcast about finding success without losing yourself in the process. We have for you today another fantastic guest, the epitome of excellence. We have with us a woman who embodies the powerful, multiple idea, polymath existence in the world, can do anything, has done almost everything. So we're so excited to talk with her today, and I'll let you introduce yourself, and then I've got some things to say about you as well. But please put your hands together and welcome Tomika Gamble.
Like, ooh. Introduce myself. Yeah, I'm Tomika Gamble. Oh goodness, there's so much about me to share, I guess. But I currently am the founder of the Melanin Impact Collective, which was previously actually Kids Are Strong Too. Started that organization back in 2013, just for in honor of my son Isaiah, who battled cancer at the age of 3. And it was really because the community did so much for us as just, when you go through something with a child who is battling cancer and just don't know how to handle it, so many people jumped in for us and took care of us that once that was over, we knew that it was our time to give back. Ended up transitioning into corporate for a while. And then, of course, we got to 2025 when we had all this craziness going on that really, me being 40 plus and not giving a damn at that point.
Isn't that the magical thing about 40?
Yeah, no fucks given, pretty much. Yeah. That be me. Really got really irritated within, I would say January 2025 is when God really put it on my heart to transition Kids Are Strong 2 over to the Melanin Impact Collective. And the reason was so that we could really look at ourselves and see, what can we do to help our Black and Brown communities? Because if we don't support one another, who will, right?
Okay, so when you say you got upset, I am pretty certain you're referencing sort of the direction the country went, sort of socially and politically. Seemed
Yeah.
like they boxed out and are boxing out in a lot of ways, Black and Brown people
Yeah.
from opportunity suddenly. Well, not suddenly, but more increasingly. And so, did that have a personal impact on you? Were you affected by any of that, or you were just kind of observing?
I don't know if I was direct. I think we're all affected.
Mm,
I mean, I can say I wasn't directly affected because I'm in my little bubble. I'm in, suburbs but yeah, we're all affected. It's our people.
mhm.
I don't just because right at this moment, I was very opposed to the 92%. Like I didn't, we're over here, we don't have to do anything
Oh, when they said we were
because
on break?
yeah, we cannot be on break.
There's no break.
So I had a huge issue with that because if we go on break, you just wait, it's going to be our turn. And so, yes, you can be mad with people who are, they made these decisions to put these psychotic people in office, but if we sit back and we do nothing, who do you think is next?
Yeah, you know what? It's so interesting that you got here so fast, and so I heard the argument, and to some extent, I agreed that in terms of us putting our bodies on the line, I was very much in support of if they want to have these big marches, if they want to go out and do sort of like physical demonstration, that the 92% had earned the right not to put their bodies
Yeah,
in
yeah,
harm's way.
most
I
definitely.
was pro that.
Most definitely.
But I was also anti comfortable watching the world burn.
Hmm.
I still felt like there was a lot that we can do. We can finance movements. We can certainly make bad actors uncomfortable by voting with our dollars, by
Yeah,
not patronizing establishments that don't support us
yeah,
anymore, i.e., Targets and the rest of those jokers.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think I might have been like somewhere right in the middle on
yeah,
that one.
yeah. And I mean, I definitely, I'm not one that's going to necessarily be out there marching and stuff, but I am for people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not, I'm just all about people. For me, it became a humanity thing.
Yeah.
I'm not very political, I guess, but I'm all about what's right and wrong.
Yeah, that sense of justice has always shown up in everything you do. And I want to take a step back and talk about that because you mentioned Kids Are Strong Too,
Hmm.
which I had the great honor for a while of serving on the board for. And if you missed it, Tamika had a very young son who was diagnosed with a rare cancer,
Hmm. Pleural pulmonary blastoma.
pleural pulmonary blastoma,
Yeah,
which is more than a mouthful, and I imagine was a terrifying
yeah, yeah.
diagnosis to get. And although he was one of the fortunate few who made it through that and is healthy and growing and thriving, that experience made her want to help other people who are essentially living in the hospital with their
Yeah.
children more comfortable and get them access to more things. That required you to start a nonprofit.
Hmm.
I just want to take a moment and talk about this because the nonprofit is in not a very black space.
Mm.
If you if you if you hear the way people discuss the
Yeah.
nonprofit world, it is like already moneyed individuals delve into it,
Hmm.
and it's very complicated standing up the board of directors and
Very
getting all of it,
frustrating
and
for
there's a
me.
lot of paperwork and there's a lot of accounting work and there are a lot of audits and checks and
Hmm.
balances that have to run for the life
Hmm.
of the nonprofit. So could you let us know, and because I'm just assuming someone may be listening who has a dream of starting a
Yeah.
nonprofit or not for profit and wants to know what that was like standing that up.
It's a lot, but what I'll say is I'm big on listening to God.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I am who I am, right? You're going to get all assets, all aspects of me. Like, and I have close friends. They're like, oh my gosh, your mouth and this, you're going to get tea, like in all
Tamika has a
elements,
mouth.
right? I,
Okay.
I do. But what I will tell you is I know God and there's nothing that I can or will do without that, right? And so for one, it's big to me that you really listen to God and figure out your purpose before you do anything. You should not be starting a nonprofit if that's not within the will of God because it's not an easy journey.
Mm-mm.
And especially for us, what I have learned, especially this year, um, our people don't give like we need to be giving. And so it's very difficult just getting donations and the financial backing. So it's a tough thing. I do highly, highly encourage people to get involved and give and find those things where you can. But I will say it takes a lot to set up. It takes a lot of people um, a lot to get people to buy into your dream and to
Mm.
buy into what you're trying to do. You have to sell. It's not as difficult to sell, well, you wouldn't think, children who are fighting for their lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that's pretty simple, right? I can show you a child who is struggling and I can make you relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
What I did find this year, once I transitioned to the Melanin Impact Collective, because I said, I want to help us, I want us. And the focus became let's support the schools of underrepresented students,
Mm-hmm.
I need our people to give so that we can give scholarships to these young brown, black children.
Okay.
You want to know how hard that was?
I mean, I would like to say it wasn't that much more difficult, but I can tell from your face that it was night and day.
I learned a whole lot about us this past year,
Hmm.
and it was very sad. And some people can say, "Well, it's the economy, it's this," and I said, "Well, but I just went over to Kiss or to where all these different spots where we can go out and we can party and stuff. And we're there. So you can't tell me
That we don't have any discretionary income.
we're spending.
This is an interesting topic. So I I am not a politician, but I am political in that I follow politics and I care about how
Mm-hmm.
they move the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a conversation not that long ago with Jasmine Crockett. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and she, if people don't know, she is one of the highest campaign fundraising candidates out of Texas. She raised
Mm.
more, and which is also why she's on some great committees. People don't understand the connection between those
Yeah.
things, but she raised a lot more than a black candidate has ever raised, and she
Mm.
outraised a lot of other candidates also. But she was saying didn't feel that she should have been an outlier like that, and she's
Mm.
not sure why. Black and brown candidates have so much trouble raising money from their communities when the impact is so big, when you get someone in position who really cares about you. So I can see the parallel here
Mm-hmm.
when you are raising funds that will go directly back into the communities
Mm-hmm.
that you're raising the money from, and they're not catching the vision and they're not
Yeah.
going into their pockets. I'll just venture to ask, what do you think the reason is?
I- That's a hard question. And I tried to figure that out. I don't know if it's I that's a hard question because I can tell you I don't know if it's because we were targeting specifically, saying, well, for one, when we did our most recent event, it was called Black Excellence Unleashed. I know we had some donors, potential donors, who said, and these were Caucasians, I cannot support anything called Black excellence.
Mm.
Okay.
Now, because of their own views, or because they were concerned that it was illegal DEI to use
Well,
the,
how is
the
this
current
illegal?
Listen,
I'm not in corporate. Like, we're not a state institution.
right.
So this is just something you just don't want to support. Just
Mm-hmm.
say that,
Mm-hmm.
this isn't an illegal thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is, you just are not wanting to attach black to it for
Okay.
whatever reason, but you say you have black friends. So, and if you really delve into it, this is just about us raising and lifting and showing these youth the importance of being exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to go back and say, okay, now we might have to take off black and just say, you know what? This is about excellence,
Yeah.
unleashing excellence. I don't know why we don't give, because I still had the same issues with us who had money.
Well, so here's the thing. I don't. I'm a big fan of research and data, and I love to see an actual peer-reviewed study. So I don't even want to venture into saying we don't do something that I haven't
I think we
statistically
need to
seen.
definitely get stats on it.
I would like to see it.
Yeah.
And I would also like to see what our giving is like comparatively to what our percentage of the wealth in the country is.
Mm.
Because a lot of times, if you're asking the community to give, you're asking a much smaller population to carry a
Mm-hmm.
lot more weight. Even if you're asking very well to do, wealthy Black
Mm-hmm.
people to give, they're getting hit up all the time by all of the
Mm-hmm.
organizations that are targeting Black and brown people. And so they're also having to be selective. And so this actually takes me back to your nonprofit stand up and some of the, I guess, quagmires or hurdles or obstacles that you ran into when you're just starting out, meaning you don't have 10, 15 years of
Mm-hmm.
evidence of good work you've done to look back and point to. How are you selling the vision? Because let's be real, there's
Yeah.
people out here that are very scammy,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
they're standing
Yeah.
up nonprofits, and that money is going right in their pocket. I don't even give to Red
Yeah.
Cross because
Yeah.
they have been proven to get very little of their money to
It
the people in need. So how are you selling the vision?
honestly, it's about trust. It's about people trusting you as a person.
Mm,
So when you are a small organization, they have to know you. And so that's building relationships directly.
okay.
And so a lot of mine is people know me. They know, and I have so many different businesses. I work in corporate as well. I am the face of many things within that corporate level. So people know, oh, I mean, you can Google me and you'll
Mm-hmm.
see exactly where I am at the corporate level. So they know that there are these, there's things that you can trust about me
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not going to be representing that major, institution if you can't. But it really is about trust. If
Mm-hmm.
someone can't sit with you and they don't really know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a lot of touchy feel. That's, you might
Mm-hmm.
have to sit in some homes and really get to know these people to help them to understand what that vision is and casting that vision. Like, I need to
Mm-hmm.
make you see this is why we are doing what we're doing and why and how it impacts you and putting you in that space as well. So you have to have a story. It can't just be, I'm just out here just willy-nillying it. It really needs to be a purpose. And that's why everybody shouldn't just be throwing up a nonprofit.
No, and I mean, it's not easy, and you can spend a lot of money trying to get it up and not get it up, from
Yeah,
what I
it's a
understand.
lot. It's a lot of paperwork. When I started Kids Are Strong too, I remember it was very difficult because nobody wanted to help.
Mm.
Nobody wanted to help me with the paperwork, wanted to teach me how to do it. You would ask people and it was like this secret. But there was this one lady I met and she's, I can't even remember what state she's in, but wonderful, wonderful lady. She helped me so much to figure out just how to do it. And I just absolutely love her. But here, our local, it was almost like competition.
Well, they've made it a business model for profit because I've been contacted by several people like, you want to start a nonprofit? For just the low, low price of
Uh-uh.
$3,250,
Mm-mm.
we can help you,
And you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
Anyone that it's not that tough, you know, but you do need to have the right people in place. You need to have people that you can trust.
Yeah.
You need a board that is really bought into that vision. You
Hmm.
don't want people that are there that aren't going to work, and put it takes a lot. It's a lot to run any kind of business.
But it
So
didn't turn you off, obviously, because now you're into your second nonprofit
yeah.
with Melanin Impact Collective.
Yeah, because for me, it's like I said, with T comes giving back. Um, I everything that I do, it has to be that I want to be exceptional at it. I want to be able to have an impact. I always say, I remember when they used to always ask, if you got $1 million, what would you do with it? And I was always like, I would give back. I would be able to,
Hmm.
I would help this person do this and I would do that. When other people were like, well, I would buy this big old house and I would do this. And I'm like, that's never been my response. I recently told another friend, they had asked, and I was like, I just want to be able to give like Oprah. And
I know.
the first response though was, oh, you get a car, you get a car. And I said, no, you're not understanding.
Mm,
I want to be able to give back like Oprah.
yeah.
And I will be able to do that. And that's why I'm excited about this whole new venture, because I feel like Black Excellence Unleashed was really an opportunity for me to learn a whole lot. And it's really transitioning into Excellence Unleashed, which is the new business, which will be Excellence Unleashed Apparel, so that we can really put some systems in place for our youth within this Houston community.
Okay, I do want to talk about that. First, I want to say there's a lot of psychology research around the fact that giving and giving back is actually much more helpful, much
Hmm.
more edifying to the human body
Hmm.
and the human psyche than taking.
Hmm.
So I imagine that's why you look so young and good and your skin is so
Oh,
smooth.
oh, oh, okay. Hold on, I'm gonna accept that.
I'm telling you what I heard. That literally, it does something to your psyche and your body to give to others,
Mhm.
selflessly. You've made it an entire way of life. But I do want to talk about Excellence Collective because this targets incoming college students. That's correct. Is that correct?
Excellence Unleashed.
Excellence Unleashed.
Yeah. So basically, with Melanin Impact Collective, we are targeting certain schools within the Houston area. Right.
Okay.
We started with Hightower, Worthing. We were able to get two students. We're partnering with TSU is the goal, and we were able to send two students to TSU with $11,000 was what we raised within just a couple of months. And so we want to continue to build those partnerships with those HBCUs because we know that they were built for us, right, to help our students to succeed. And we need that. There's a different level of love within those campuses
Mm,
for students who may need just a little bit more. Because
mhm.
I didn't go to HBCU.
Me
I,
neither.
I went to massive Texas A&M University. Enjoyed the experience, but I know that it was different from my brother's experience at Texas Southern University.
Yeah.
Um, just different, right? So I know that when I take a student from like a Hightower or a Worthing or a Yates, they may be top of the class. Great, but that doesn't mean that they received everything that like a DeBakey student may have received, or that somebody out in Memorial and they have all this extra money and they can do all this
Mm,
extra stuff. That doesn't mean that these aren't two highly intelligent students that are equal, but they didn't get equal, they didn't have equal circumstances, right?
sure,
So they
sure.
may need just a little bit more. And that's why we target those schools and try to help them. And that's why I think that a TSU is a great opportunity for them. But that's what Melanin Impact Collective is. But we want to continue that with Excellence Unleashed by looking at those targeted schools who are coming from the different areas of Houston, really showcasing Houston, allowing Houston to be our inspiration for the apparel line is what it is, but really digging into these schools and allowing these schools to really think about the arts and focusing on the athletes and getting those kids engaged with, man, I can come and work with you guys and I can be a part of the creation of these pieces and just be a part of it. And we're going to pay those students to actually be a part of this. So we're setting them up for some greatness, to help them like, y'all gonna go to school. We're gonna make sure whatever it is that you're trying to do, we want to make sure we pay them. And we want to make sure that if we have these athletes who are great at like a Yates, but maybe they just aren't just powerhouses, right? Well, now we can focus on them and say, oh, we have some NIL opportunities because that's our focus as a company is what can we do to lift Houston? And to lift these underrepresented campuses that your wonderful president does not want to help.
There's a lot going on around the HBCU space right now.
Mm,
I mean, good, bad, and ugly. So, on the one hand, they've had a huge surge in enrollment, as PWIs have experienced the exact opposite right
mm-hmm.
now because people are clamoring for that safety and that belonging and that
Yeah.
sense of community. The same way they were formed, that same urgency to be with people who see you,
Mm-hmm.
right, seems to be driving. At the same time, there's a very long, sort of well known um, difficulty for HBCUs to remain fully funded.
Mm-hmm.
They've been targeted by states in terms of having their money pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Many southern states.
Yeah.
They've been accredited, disaccredited, unaccredited, reaccredited many times by these boards and committees who decide who has the best
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on in that space. Even TSU, as you
Mm-hmm.
know, they've had a lot of churn in terms of their board of regents. So
Yeah.
some of that feels to me very intentional,
Mm-hmm.
like a way to try to cut the legs out from under it. But some of it is that they were built out of a need that's very different from a lot of PWIs. And so they have very different staffing and setups. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, I know people who went to some of the absolute best HBCUs in the
Mm-hmm.
country. We're talking Howard, we're talking Spelman, we're talking Morehouse. And they all have very similar stories about how long it took them to get their refund checks so they could pay for their classes and how long it took them to get their dorms sorted. Just
Mm-hmm.
really
Even at those, I was shocked. Yeah.
running
Yeah.
very lean, don't
Mm-hmm.
have the staffing, don't have the funding to get the
Yeah.
machine working. So, as we see people who, from my lips to God's ears, who you'll be in the future, like McKinsey,
Yeah.
E.M. Scott, Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
What's his ex-wife? His ex-wife, McKinsey.
Yes, I know.
You know
Yes.
who I'm talking
Yes.
about.
Yes. Yes.
um, Giving hundreds of millions of dollars
Yeah.
to these HBCUs. I'm really hoping that there is a complete overhaul in terms of systems as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we don't want to run into these institutions and overwhelm the systems. They need to be operating.
That's problematic. I want to say that it's was it TSU that got a Caucasian leader in the development
Yeah, just
team?
now, just very recently.
And then there was some negative comments about it. But how are we going to grow if we're not willing to look at a diverse pool of individuals who have experience? Like we can't just say like, oh, well, let's just keep all of us here and think that it's going to just remain. I do believe that you need to be able to believe in the system and believe in what is the goals, what is the culture, like what we're trying to do. And I do want to see us. When I go to an HBCU, that's the whole purpose. But if you're looking at systems and administration, you got to put the best in there. We got to get this stuff running right.
Yeah, I think that's the crux of the issue.
But my also question is, why is it not running right with us?
Yeah, that's
Because
the
we're
question.
we're all degreed.
No, I don't think, and I don't think it's about capability. I don't even think it's about competency. I think it's about oversight. I think it's about comfort levels. I think people get into a groove, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they have gotten comfortable running at certain levels that wouldn't fly other places.
Let me tell you something, because at my corporate place, which I absolutely love, okay, I work in the number one cancer center. I just might as well put it out there. The leadership is what makes the difference. And
Hmm.
it's almost like y'all have to put the right leader in place
Agreed.
to be able to make sure that it trickles down and that there's this corporate environment that has this pride and that there's a whole culture.
Yep.
And it's like, I just want to guide you and say, go get this leader and they're going to make a whole difference here. This is the kind of leader that you need that's going to change that whole culture and that whole dynamic. Because the experience that I've had has been an amazing one that is to the point. And of course we have, our goal, our mission is so powerful. what the mission of the organization is, and it makes people want to be there and everything. But a mission of an HBCU is the same thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
we're taking these children and we're trying to develop them. We
Mm-hmm.
want them to succeed.
Yeah.
Like, that's powerful.
Well, let me be clear. I went to all PWIs, and everything ain't sweet over there either. Okay.
No, I mean,
Let's be clear. Every university has its issues. They all, and I went to the University of Texas at
Mhm.
Austin for
See,
law
that was the
school.
problem right there, because,
Don't start, Aggie. And I will say there were scandals. There were people
Yeah.
who were let go. There were people who were subpar. There were people who were shenanigans. You just don't hear about it the same
Yeah.
way you hear
Yeah.
about it. I mean, I think here let's discuss this concept, because maybe this will help frame the conversation. Part of the name of your company is excellence. Excellence built
Mhm.
into the name.
Mhm.
And there's this ongoing conversation around whether the idea of Black excellence is actually anti-Black. Have you heard this conversation? That it is
Oh, okay. Yeah.
meaning
Yeah.
Black excellence as though it's some outlier, first of all, is a problematic concept. And then also that Black people should be allowed to just be mediocre as well. Just the way that there are millions and millions of mediocre everything, and that the pressure to be better than everyone else is sometimes debilitating. Thoughts?
Okay. That is true. You do, as a Black person, you always have to be that much better in the corporate world. That is
In every world, I would
every
say.
world. That is, and I'm just telling you from my experience in corporate, I've always had to be here to get the same recognition that the other people get. Like, I'm working crazy. Now, I know I'm better than you, but you also don't like that I know that. And I've always had this confidence because I know that God has placed me in positions that I'm supposed to be in,
Mhm.
and there's a reason for it.
Mhm.
And I've always said, y'all want, the glory, but you didn't want my story, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm going to be here until God tells me it's time for me to move on, but certain people don't like that confidence. But as
Oof,
we've always
girl.
had to be that much better. So that's very much true.
It can be exhausting.
But at the same time, I am very big on being your truest self.
Okay.
So there's a very big balance for me. And the older I got, the more that it played out completely, because I don't play those games anymore. I think when I was younger, you didn't even realize it, but there was that white voice that you would.
Oh, the code switch.
Yes, but we didn't call it that back then. They just talk about me and say, "Oh, she's white voice,"
Mhm.
and it was just a natural thing. You get in front of them. Well, all of a sudden, I realized I was like, I started noticing it. I'm
Mhm.
not doing that anymore. I'm too grown for this. I'm too good. I think once you realize what you bring to the table,
Mhm.
like y'all can't do this without me. Like I know what I bring because I know what God put in me and why I'm here. So I think when you get to that level, it changes up a little bit. But you definitely have to be that much better, within those spaces. It just kind of is what it is. But and the whole, I very much do think you need to be yourself to a certain extent, but there is a level of self that
Mhm.
is exceptional.
Listen, I'm pro authenticity. This is all I ever talk
Mhm.
about. If you haven't caught my TED Talk yet, please check out my TEDx talk. It's called Unmasking the
Mhm.
Power of Authenticity in
Yep.
a World Full of Masked People. And I'm pro being yourself.
Yeah.
I think it is always a journey. I think everyone has an aha moment. You just described yours, which was saying, "Oh, I'm really too good to be over here putting on a fake voice
Mhm.
and switching up. I'm getting it done," right? What I remember is probably about 5 years or 6 years into what was a 15-year litigation career. I was just out with some older white male attorneys.
Mhm.
And they were sitting around talking to each other. I'm talking about thick Southern accents, all kinds of backwoods country quotes, like, like just very much leaning into that
Mhm.
sort of hickey,
Mhm.
no questions asked. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to push the lexicon as far as I can. Every extra vocabulary word, everything's
Yeah.
crisp. I'm putting the T at the ends of everything that ends with a
So
T.
they don't judge you.
Correct. And I was like, wait a minute. These people are very comfortable in whatever their version of slang is. It gives them a sense of camaraderie.
Mm.
But because I'm always the only one in the room,
Mhm.
I can't lay into the comfortable way that I
And that's the
talk.
problem. We've always been the only one.
Yes, which is why I can't leave Houston.
Why you can't leave where we live right now?
Correct. Because I spent all of my life always being the first, the only in a space, and I can't,
Mhm.
like, Austin was wild to me. For it
Mhm.
to be such a quote unquote
Mhm.
progressive liberal place,
Yeah.
I can't tell you the number of times I looked around and I'm like, where are the black people
I
at?
remember in elementary it was two of us.
I was one of 6.
Yeah, the whole
In high
school.
school,
Oh, my high school wasn't that
in my
bad.
high school class, I
No.
was one of 6 graduating seniors. And I that's all I knew.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I'll say all that to say pro authenticity. I think it's a journey, and I
Mhm.
don't push people faster than they want to go. So if you're
Mm.
still in your proving yourself era and you still feel that you have to show up as the version that's most palatable to people, I don't
Mm.
shove anyone out of it. I
Yeah,
just try.
palatable.
Listen,
Uh,
that's
yeah.
that's kind of what it is.
That.
That's what it is. You're like, how do I go down the smoothest for other
Well, I'm gonna
people?
tell you, they give you a hard time if you don't. But
Yes.
I've always been the one that stayed in trouble though too. So I'm always gonna be the one that's gonna say what's on your mind that nobody else wants to say. I'm gonna say it how I'm gonna
Good trouble.
say it. Yeah, that's why I should have told him. But I've always been that. So it
That
just,
tracks.
it just kind of creeps out, and I don't want to be fake. It's tiring.
Mm.
I don't want to, and I don't want to call it fake. Like I'm going, this is the voice you're going to get. I'm very professional.
Mhm.
I know that I'm highly intelligent. I think you have to have that confidence within yourself so that you don't have to feel like I have to be someone else in these spaces.
Yeah.
I know what I bring to the table. I know that I have probably more degrees than you have.
Mhm.
I don't have to prove anything
That
except
is
for the work and the outcomes that I'm putting out here.
that's the journey piece, because I think for most early careerists fresh out of school, they do not have that
And they're
confidence.
scared of people. They're scared to talk to leadership.
Yes.
So you have to find your voice and not be.
I could not have said it better. You have to find your voice. That's why I'm saying I don't rush people's journey.
Yeah.
I know you need some stuff under your belt. You need to be able to show and prove that you can do the work a lot of times before you feel comfortable
Yeah.
unmasking a bit. But I do think people need to get there, because it can literally make you sick if
Yeah.
you never feel that you can go anywhere as yourself in the spaces where you're earning a living.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Or you have to watch yourself, or they're going to report you. You know how many places I've been and worked where I have worked in some hick places. I will say that. And
oh yeah.
man, you get reported for looking funny.
Listen, we don't have time today to get into to tone policing, but the tone policing is wild.
Uh,
The sort of nebulous, can't really put my finger on it. I just feel like
uh-huh.
she has a tone.
Uh-huh.
Girl.
My face will get me in trouble all the time. So I always used to keep someone around me. I've always been blessed to have like that friend that was, near, that's like, fix your face.
Yeah, but this is my thing. Like, how are we, at what point is making a face grounds for somebody really? I have
Because
sat
you
in,
make a face too.
that's my thing.
That's what gets me.
I have not to this day met a effective leader who can move the needle in a company that doesn't know when to put on a tone to tighten up a group,
Mhm.
that doesn't know when to sort of stop playing it so soft and really, say, okay, look, this is what it is.
Mhm.
We've done all the debating.
Yeah.
I have to make an executive decision now
Yeah.
because something has to get done. These are the people who confidently make executive decisions, even in the face of resistance, but they also apparently are surprised when they see it in other people. So it's interesting. It's just because these are the characteristics
seen
of
it
good
all.
leadership. It's just shocking to them to see people, I think, that they don't expect to be at that level, operating at that level.
I have a question. What do you think about, the leadership standards that are being set by this administration is
What
changing?
standards?
Okay. It's
It's
changing what
messy.
you're seeing in how the leaders, like even Jasmine Crockett,
Mhm.
how she's able to be more herself. You hear curse words coming out, you hear all these different things. How are we teaching our kids now?
So there is a very clear and obvious degrading of civil discourse. Let's start there. And
Mhm.
I'm not talking about curse words. I'm talking about just general uncivility, flat out, flat-footed lying,
Mhm.
disparaging other people, making fun of disabled people, misogyny,
Mhm.
misogynoir. All of that is front row and center, right?
Mhm.
So we've seen that. That's its own bucket, right? And that's, I think, going to be the great blight and the lasting legacy of the current
Mhm.
administration, that they destroyed the way people talk to each other. And now that we've learned this week that a lot of the most ridiculous accounts that have actually spurred this on in the social media space are like bot accounts from Russia and India,
Mm,
Bangladesh and
mm,
Nigeria. I'm not even remotely surprised by that.
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
surprised that people are surprised. Okay.
I don't know how
Uh,
you're surprised with anything at this point.
okay. So there was clearly a concerted effort by foreign actors to make sure that America implodes internally and that we can't relate to one another. And it's a very divide and conquer
Mhm.
strategy. Okay. So there's that. That's the last, to me, that's the lasting legacy of all the Trump
Yeah.
eras together.
Yeah.
First term, second term, and the campaigns. But in terms of the much more, I would say, relaxed, colloquial, speaking truth to power, taking off the gloves versions of politicians we're getting, I think it's timely. I think it's necessary.
Mhm.
And I'll say that, for example, Beto O'Rourke, that's the
Mhm.
first, and this is a white male in Texas.
Mhm.
He's the first candidate I saw like using the F bomb on the campaign
Mhm.
trail, and he
Mhm.
came very close to unseating our governor.
Mhm.
But I think the tone that he had represented the frustration of the
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And then, Jasmine is in an arena with people who are saying all kinds of crazy things to her
Yeah.
every day. There is a limit
Yeah.
to
And
how far you
I
let somebody push you.
I completely agree, but how is that rolling down? Because we still have to be professional in the corporate world.
See, we have two different spheres of understanding on this, because coming up in legal, there's a lot of cursing.
Mm.
The
Mhm.
legal profession is a lot of gloves
Y'all
off.
crazy over
I'm not gonna argue with you about it. I mean, I think I would agree to. So, I mean, if and
there.
I mean, maybe you'll go out and have a beer afterwards and be fine. But
Uh-huh.
really, when you're locked in litigation, people are rude and they're nasty.
Gotcha.
I actually did a CLE many years ago on the erosion of civility in the legal profession is
Mhm.
bad.
Wow.
It's very wild, wild west. And I don't even just mean like opposing counsel and you with all the bluffing and the posturing and the cussing each other out and the thinly veiled threats and the emails and the pleadings. I mean the people in the office together,
Oh
right?
wow.
It's just a very abrasive, highly adversarial profession, and people move really. They don't handle each other well in the
Mm.
legal profession. It's part of the reason I was so happy to get
That
out.
probably wouldn't work for me.
No,
Cause,
it wasn't
cause,
working for
cause we're going
me.
in. I'm sorry. You're not gonna treat me like that every
And that's
day.
the thing. My character is never to cuss somebody out. And
Mhm.
so I feel like if you're pulling me out of my character, this is not a place where I belong.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
literally just heard LaRussell do a podcast, and he said, if you have a choice between changing who you are and changing where you are, you change where you are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why it was so easy for me to exit the legal
Mhm.
profession, because it was literally changing me to the point where I would be home trying to communicate with people I actually love and feeling myself go into that
Oh
aggressive
wow.
mode. And I was like, okay, not y'all making me a monster.
Yeah.
That's enough,
Yeah. Yeah. That
So,
makes sense. Yeah.
I think there are professions like that. In fact, I
Mm.
worked in healthcare, as you know, for several years. Not certainly not as long as you've been in healthcare. And one of the biggest issues that we were dealing with all the time, sorry, is the way that doctors talk to nurses,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
this superiority and their willingness to degrade the person
Mm.
in reprimanding or giving directives,
Mhm.
and how that actually costs patient lives all the
Mm.
time. So the erosion of civility is touching everyone.
Mhm.
It's getting worse. It has been emboldened, I think, but I have a hard time trying to take aim at the politicians on the right side, when I don't mean right wing, I mean on the side of justice,
Hmm.
who are trying to save the democracy and taking aim at them for using salty
Oh, most
language
definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
when this is apparently where we are now.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, most
So
definitely.
I don't think I would get down in the dirt with it, only because I always feel like you never they say you never get in an argument with a fool
Oh
because
yeah,
they'll
I
beat
don't
you with
argue with
experience.
dummies.
What they say, they'll never get in an argument with a fool because people something like people who watch the argument don't know the difference. Like they don't know who's who.
Oh
They don't know
yeah,
which one of these is a fool.
I definitely don't argue with dummies. I have to just pull. There's a bunch of them out there in the social media world.
Yeah, yeah. And
Dr-
now that we know half of them are bots, I really don't, because I used to
l-
dust it up with people on
No,
social
but I
media.
know some of them real.
Yeah.
Like I know who you are.
Oh
You
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah.
and Drew had to really put it in perspective for me. He was like, they mix us all up. We're not separated no more like we were in school. He's
Right.
like, nah, it's all of us. We all in the same class.
Exactly. You
I
really
said,
argue with people
I was like,
who
you're right. Let me leave these people alone.
arguing with people who spent the whole school day in the itinerant
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, I didn't even think of it that way. So let me leave these grown people alone that are really,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
If they were graduating high school tracing that sentence with their finger when they had to
I'm
read out
done.
loud,
I'm done.
this is not the time to be
Yeah.
getting
I
into a
need you to stop
discourse.
arguing with me.
This is the thing, though. People aren't arguing for understanding anymore.
I don't know what they're arguing. I think they're just trying to irritate me, but yeah,
A
no.
lot of it's rage bait.
Hmm.
A lot of it is for clicks and follows and
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, you can't really get into all of that. All right, all right, all right. Okay, we want to play a game. I have a game. I have a game. Get your board out,
I have
girl.
my board.
Get your board out. I just want to see how close we are. I feel like we have a lot of the same perspectives on things. Um, all you're doing is voting. Well, let me do. What's the clean version gonna be?
Oh, you're playing clean?
Yes, I'm trying to think, because I always have. So we had like culture vulture or for the culture one time, and then the last episode I played with a girl, with a woman, was about workplace trends, and she had to say like yes or no, but I like to have a little cute kitschy way to say it, so I can't think of anything right now. I'm out of creativity, so you're just gonna vote yes or no.
I need you to be creative, but okay, come on. Don't get me over here and try to be mediocre. Come on now.
Okay, hold on. Wait, pause it, Jay. I just want to see. Okay, let me think.
Oh man. Okay. What
See,
do
we
we
should have filmed that. That was hilarious.
what time is it? Okay, my
Okay.
child get out. He get to the airport at 7:45.
Oh, what time is it?
It's 7:25.
Okay, we're gonna hurry. Well, you gotta leave in like 10 minutes then. You gotta go. Wait, are you going to hobby?
Just hobby.
Okay, okay.
They made him check his luggage, so he got to figure out how to get his luggage and stuff. So it's okay.
All right, so we're playing Let It Cook or Let It Burn.
Okay.
So Let It Cook is, yeah, let's see where that's going. I like that. Let It Burn is no, no, no. Cut it. We don't want to see it. It's jacking everything up.
Do we get to let it do the song again?
What, take me through there?
Because I'm gonna take it through there.
Let it cook.
Let her cook.
Let it cook. I don't even know how to do anything. I'm so old. My kids hate when I try to do the TikTok stuff. They're like, "Oh my God, Mom, we're doing it wrong." Okay. So all you need to put on here is Let It Cook
Oh, you want me to write that down?
or Let It Burn.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Are we 1, 2, 3? What are we doing?
I won't look. I'll give you like 10 seconds to write it down. So we're going to start with the thing I wanted to talk about anyway, which is this big popular trend that's going crazy right now in the Black community,
Mm-hmm.
the quarter zip.
Yes.
The Black man in the quarter zip. Let it cook or let it burn. Put your answer on the
Oh, we
thing.
can't talk about it?
No, we'll talk about it
Okay.
after I see what you voted.
Okay.
What?
Are we drawing
I
pictures?
did because I'm silly. Okay, let me see what you put. I can't see it. What you put? It's too small. Good grief, girl.
There you go. Look at that.
What she say? Okay, turn it around. She said,
Let
let it cook. I too said, let it. Can you see my little picture?
Ooh, ooh.
Let it cook. That's a pan on the stove with an egg in it. Don't worry about it. All right. So you're into it. Tell me why you support it.
I support it all the way. I think, I think it's a great thing, but I think it's a mentality, and I think it has to be expanded. It can't just be a social media trend. I think that it also has to be something that, for instance, our educators need to take on and make sure that we're explaining, like, why is this important? What should this really, really be? It's not just about going on TikTok and, let me just put this on and I'm just having fun. But what does it really mean? What does it signify?
Mm.
I am a little opposed to, like we can't just knock out, the Nike and just completely like, oh, you shouldn't be dressing like that because I'm all about comfort.
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean that I'm not great, right? That doesn't mean that I'm not exceptional just because I go put on some Nike tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that that's what we should be giving, but what we should be giving is make sure you bring your best self when it's time to bring your best self and, step up, and you don't have to. 'Cause let me tell you, I don't even want to go in on the bonnets and the pajamas and all of that. But that's to me, that's a part of it. Like we don't need to look like that. We don't need to go out any kind of way. And I think the quarter zip is really just bringing attention to it, as far as like how great you can be.
So we both said let it cook. I said let it cook for completely different reasons.
Go ahead.
I actually fully disagree with you right now.
Go ahead. Okay.
First of all, if the kids are doing something and it's catching on, the absolute worst thing you can do, in my opinion, is to like institutionalize it. You get the teachers talking about it and trying to give them TED Talks about it and writing op-eds about it. They're done. They're not going to do it. They hate that. They hate to be onto something that they like and they're enjoying, and then adults come in and like, yes, and you know what you can learn from this? It'll be over. I promise. They hate it. This much I learned from having 3 kids. I say for literally let them cook. Every single fashion trend started somewhere and took off. Let it cook. It might not even cook forever. Just let it cook. It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's just like.
But do you think they understand it?
What is there to understand? It's another look that they have embraced, and it's not sagging pants. So let it cook. Don't mess it up. Please, for the love of Pete, as long as it's not sagging.
I just think you can always, there's always just that extra. This is what it means.
They have their whole life to suit up and look like a corporate whatever.
Yeah.
Let them cook with whatever they feel like is cute right now. Get out of their business. That's how I am about it. Trust me. It's just like your kid does something and you really like it. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
And then they don't like it.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you're supposed to like it, Mom, because it's on me.
Yeah. Now it's over. Oh my God, you killed it. It's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you.
Okay, let it cook or let it burn.
Oh, let me erase.
Let it cook or let it burn. Kids, the new trend. I don't want to call it a trend, but this new movement. Skipping college altogether, learning a trade instead.
Ooh,
they've been talking about it at the government level. They've been talking about it in high schools. They're getting like a lot more trade schools. Let it cook or let it burn.
I don't know if I like how you presented it. You want to just talk about it?
You can talk about it, but you have to pick
I got to pick one?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What'd you put?
Maybe I put simmer. I don't know.
Let it
simmer. Because
that wasn't even an option.
We're going to simmer. We're going to simmer. Because
okay.
I am big on a college education.
Okay.
That's just me. That's something I've always pushed because I hate when people say you're not good enough for college, because I feel that every child should understand that there's nothing that you cannot accomplish if you put your mind to it. Now, these trade schools, this is also a very good thing, and there's a whole lot of money to make in these schools.
Facts.
And it's really just about educating yourself appropriately and realizing that this could be a wonderful thing. But I think that they do need to educate themselves appropriately, and you can go further out if you go get that college degree. Now this could be your business. So you can learn those trades and you can grow it even more and make even more. It's just a matter of how you look at it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I also said let it cook.
Mm-hmm.
I said let it cook, also with a caveat. You see my my question mark here that I added.
I feel like I gotta get like better.
Go to 3.
Like I need to draw some pots and stuff.
The reason I have a question mark next to let it cook is because I need people to realize how lucrative these professions are.
Yeah.
How much longevity is in them, and how many years Black and brown people have actually been kept out of these trades in terms of ownership. In fact, there are many professions like people who do professional appraisals, etc., where you have to apprentice. You have to get so many hours under someone who's certified. Plumbing also, and generationally, people have used that to just have people who look like them apprentice with them, and so then you'll have like 4, 5, 6 generations of very well-to-do plumbers, electricians, because they're making sure their kids and their cousins and
Yeah,
their
yeah.
are getting into their trade and they own businesses.
Yeah, see, I have a cousin who owns a plumbing company.
Yes, and so when people get to that graduation point, you know these kids.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know
you
if they're
do
gonna
know
do well
them.
in college or
You do
not,
know
or if
them.
they're gonna waste your money.
I just hate when somebody say you can't.
Yeah, I'm not for you can't, but I think we need to hype up these trade schools the
Yeah,
same way we hype up. There are a lot of 4-year
yeah.
institutions that the degree isn't worth the paper they wrote them on.
You are right.
They're for
You are
profit.
correct.
Their job placement
You're
percentages are
definitely correct
trash.
because if you go get a degree that's not worth anything, that it's what, and you
Yeah,
don't have the guidance and stuff. So yes, my husband and I, we were just talking about this.
caveat being, I don't like the way the government right now is acting like everyone needs to go only into a trade. That's
Hmm.
actually ticking me off.
Yeah.
But having said that, let it cook. That's where it is.
And it's got to be some,
Because I feel like they're trying to create a bigger working class who can't be thought leaders. But I like what you said. Go get your trade, then go to school at night or
I mean, you can get your degree, especially since after the pandemic, we have all these online degrees.
right, you can get your degree later and flip your trade into a
But are you
full-on.
going to do it?
Well,
It's easier to get a degree first. It's easier just to get that stuff out the
it's
way.
easier to pay for a degree cash when you have a job. And they're not even
True.
giving loan money out the same way
They're
anymore.
not.
They done pulled
They're
the Pell
not.
Grants. They done said all these things are not even professional degrees anymore. So my IMO, let it cook.
Yeah.
Go back and get your degree. Or if you're a college kitty, I will never knock college because you learn more about how to learn
Yeah.
and how to be on your own
Yes.
and how to create strong, lasting relationships in college than you were
To
in.
me, that's a big purpose of college.
Absolutely.
Honestly, it's finding yourself because we're taking these kids at 18, some of them at 17, some of them at 16, and we're saying, "Hey, you're grown. Go."
No, they
Figure it
need
out.
that. They need that
They
4 years
need
as a
that 4
transition
years.
period.
I just
Agreed.
noticed my kid just going off right now. It's just been amazing just watching him this just one semester. I'm like, you're in public speaking. This is great.
They change
You're
so
actually
fast.
speaking on topics and doing, like just you can just see the transition just within the couple of months.
That's right.
So I think it's a growth period. I don't, he'll say, well, why am I in this class? I'm not gonna learn anything. This is something I'll use for life. And I'm like, you will.
Yeah, if you don't learn anything else, you learn that you're responsible for that syllabus and nobody's about to remind you
Yep.
and nobody's emailing your mommy.
Yeah. So,
You're
I mean,
on your own.
but he has one kid that's at the same college as him because he's at a junior college right now. He decided to go there. And they're both big time athletes out of the Houston area. It's neat that they actually both ended up at the same school for the same reason because they have these goals. But the kid was saying when I went and met with his friend, he said he's trying to do a trade. And I was like, wow. So I'm wondering, are you going to transition to the next school? So he's actually working on getting a trade while he's there, which is also great. So when he transitions out, if he goes to a 4-year, he'll already have that trade.
All right, last one because you got to go pick your son up. This one's personal.
Okay.
Let it cook or let it burn.
Uh-huh.
Your organization,
Uh-huh.
let it cook or let it burn, providing scholarships based purely on socioeconomic status and not considering ethnicity. Why or why not? Let it cook or let it burn.
I would say let it cook.
Let it cook.
Yeah, because for me, it's all about humanity and people who are in need. So when I look at communities, right? Like for me, the Melanin Impact Collective started, we looked at the Black community because it's like we have to look at this first because if we can't fix us and help us, how are we going to help anybody else? If you look at our logo is a lotus flower that has multiple different browns and different colors, right? You'll see browns, purples, yellows, and that was intentional because it's not that we're trying to leave anybody out.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to say, well, we got to educate ourselves and we got to make sure we know the importance of giving back so that we can go and help other people.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's about who are these people who are in need? It's about people, right? And if you're in these targeted communities people are people,
That's right.
right? So no, I would say let it cook because we're here to help our community and to teach our own the importance of giving back so that hopefully we don't have these fundraisers and things where we can't give. And it's about solidarity. I don't care what color you are. We're starting here so we can teach our own to be able to be great and we can go out and we can help others to be great.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming and hanging out
I'm
with us
so
today. I don't want to keep you.
excited.
I'm so happy you got to come back. We're gonna do a girlfriends roundtable
We need to,
because you
most
already
definitely.
planted the idea, and I want to get like 4 or 5 really opinionated,
Oh, I got them for
whip
you.
smart women
Girl.
in the studio, and get some conversations going. But for people who want to find you, who they do want to give to your organizations, they do want to get involved. If you will hit up camera 2 and let us know how they
Yes.
can find you.
Well, probably the best place to find me is on Instagram at Mika, Mika, Gam 23. That's Mika Gam 23. And then that's going to link you to every organization that we have and all the great stuff that we're doing. So again, Mika Gam 23. See y'all soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Give me a hug.
Look,
Girl.
I was like, let me go play with Jay.
Yeah, you can always stay playing.
It's 11.